We have special guest Bailey hanging out with us today.
Beattie with the
Bailey,
T.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
It's all good, man.
A UFO specialist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Expert in the
wanted
field.
to, we want to talk about UFOs and who and whatever else that leads to, but as he's an enthusiast, it's would you call it a passion?
Yeah. I would say it's been paying attention to things like this for a long
Okay,
time.
so as far as the UFOs, everything, all of that stuff, I've got my own beliefs on all that stuff. But I don't know if I'm right. I think I am, but I may not be. Like, I have to ask you, do you 100% believe there's extraterrestrial life out there?
Yeah.
And
100%.
they've been here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, and not to be like weird or anything, but would you stake your life on it?
Yeah.
Like,
I think I would. I know.
what
I would,
about a loved one's life?
Oh man.
I'm sorry, I just want to know how
Which
much
love are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, there's a tier system to that. You know, I 100% believe that there is. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's just
When I put my 2-year-old's life on it.
I'm glad you did that. Yeah, I'm glad you did that. It's just a loyalty test.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so what got you into the?
Just curiosity as a kid, for sure. Like to look at the stars at night and just kind of believe in how vast, space is. How could there not be? Yeah. And then when YouTube came along, middle school, things like that, I started going down rabbit holes, things like that, just like the normal kid did at night.
No.
But I always believed, before I even looked into, evidence and stuff, that there was got to be life out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you think you've ever seen anything?
Yes. Yeah. So a couple times, a couple of them are kind of just, it could be anything, it could be lanterns, like the candle lanterns that people put up.
Right.
Yeah. They saw that during the day. There were about 20 of them just way up in the sky, middle of the day.
Right.
And just kind of going off. And I swear I saw one shoot off, but it could have been my eyes playing with me.
Where was that at?
Midland, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
it's always out in the country.
Albemarle Road.
Yep. See, I live in Locust.
There's a story. Yeah, I'll pick right up on that.
But yes, that was the first one. And it could have been, in my mind, it could have been orbs, stuff like that. But that was a very quick one as far as I've had a couple more that are way more, just absolutely no question. The latest one was I was at the house in Locust, North Carolina. And me and my wife were outside, middle of the day. I was throwing the tennis ball up in the air for the dog. And I see this, like a star in the sky. And I was like, that's weird, or it could have been like Venus, because Venus is very bright.
Right.
It's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, though. So I was just kind of like, there's no way it'd be that bright right now. Well, it's stationary, just sitting there, and all of a sudden a plane came out from under it, and I'm videotaping it, and I can show you a video. It moved to the left, and pretty quickly, and it stopped again. And I didn't see this, but then also my wife, and she believes in something, she knows how weird I am into this. She's not as weird as I am. She was the one that said, look at all the ones below it. And we saw 5, 6 silver metallic orbs, slowly but consistently going away from it, going to the north, towards Concord. And it was pretty cool. And those didn't stop, those kept going. And then the stationary one from above, pretty far up above it, followed them and then stopped again, another 10 minutes, and then disappeared.
So have you ever looked up anything about it to see, has anybody else in the area saw the same thing?
So I looked on MUFON, there's a couple other, legitimate, resources, and I didn't see anything.
Really?
Nope. I even called one of my buddies who's into this like I am. And I was like, man, they're coming your ways. He lives in Concord, and he didn't see them either. But yeah, it was my wife, she was like, yeah, that was definitely something.
It was actually around here when I was a kid. It wasn't completely dark, and it was kind of like what you described, and it was like a star, but it was not. It was way too close. It wasn't that far away. It wasn't moving, because my grandmother, she said, "There's a bear," and I was a little kid, and she asked me, "What is that?" I'm like, I'm 5. You tell me. And it sit there for quite a while. We sit there. I remember we sit there on our porch for at least 5 or 6 minutes, and then all of a sudden it just kind of started moving, and then it was gone.
Oh, cool.
And she told me that it was in the paper, the next day that somebody like in Stanley, that was Cramerton Stanley, like it was all around Gaston County.
cool.
Area, that other people
That
had
validates it,
seen
yeah.
something too. Plus, I grew up like 20 miles from Canaveral Seashore is part of where I grew up at. So I've seen all the shuttle launches, all that. The first
Heck yeah, man.
Challenger, I was in 8th grade. I didn't go to school that day because it was so cold.
Oh, wow.
But
So
they
because it
do a
was
lot.
so cold.
Yeah, dude, it was, man, when it gets down to like 28 far, that's cold.
It gets down to 28 and 4.
Yeah. It was cold. The morning the Challenger blew up, that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, because the O-ring got, you know.
Yeah, that guy
That's-
told him.
they
That guy
told
told him, yeah, don't do
launch.
it.
Yeah, they did anyway.
Yeah, that was, I seen the first shuttle launch and I seen the first night. I've seen SpaceX. The space shuttle was actually more impressive. I guess that it had to use more different fuel or something. It's just, man, it would light up the beach for
That's awesome.
40 miles in each direction.
He's been to some launches down there for.
Yeah, we went down to see the Artemis 1 lift off, and it was when it got scrubbed. So we didn't get to see it launch.
That's right.
But
That's right.
We
Yeah.
will be going back for Artemis 2 when it's going to be people on it for
Yeah.
sure. Absolutely, it's fun. It's a cool atmosphere to go down there. And see
But I seen there was sometimes like some of the rockets they would launch and that they wouldn't announce. And there was like some weather balloons. I remember there was some kind of weather balloon that put off some kind of, I guess it was a gas around it or something. I don't know. But I remember in the neighborhood I lived in Florida, which is not a real, like, I seen some people that I remember I was like 3rd grade, but there was some people that come out and like they thought it was like the end of time. They was like getting kind of like, oh, I was like, man, like I'm looking up at it like, y'all sure, man? Like, I don't know, like let's just figure out what this is because it was big, it was really red, but it was something that they had launched.
So it was something that they
it came up from Cape Kennedy, which
Well, at least they
wasn't
say
very far.
that's what.
Everybody was all bugging out on it that night, but they didn't announce or anything, and it was pretty wild. But
Yeah, so that one that came through the area 2 years ago, the white balloon that went across the entire
Oh
country.
yeah, and they shot it down the ocean.
Yeah, the first people would think, they're here, you know.
Yeah. So, out at my house, it's real dark out there in the evening times. It's one of the darkest areas in the state, really, in my house, and it's wide open, so you can see the sky very good. And so I'll be out there sometimes, and I've got the little app where you can look up to see what everything is up there, and you can see the satellites and everything. And I see stars up there that are moving constantly. What are those?
Are they staying consistent lines?
That's what it seems like.
Satellites.
They are satellites.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah,
showing
like
on the
that.
app.
Yeah, no, they won't show up on like the Skywalk or the constellation apps. They won't show up, but you can download I think Heavens Above, and
Okay.
it'll show you the satellites.
Okay.
But every once in a while, you'll see one, and you'll just all of a sudden it'll be like,
Yeah.
do like a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
That ain't no satellite.
Yeah. I've seen stuff like that out there too.
And that's definitely something unexplained.
Okay.
there's something flying around our satellites, man. There's something like our Wi-Fi and stuff out.
That's
There's
not
certain
talking about.
things I
Please
need
don't.
on my GPS. Like
Anything but that.
there's certain things I'm gonna need.
And we're still looking for a sponsor for the chirping, the chirping
Oh yeah, we
smoke
ain't got
detector.
a sponsor.
So if anybody out
You're
there,
wondering about that, like
$6 or
we're-
something.
Yeah, we're in our 6th episode, and like somebody gonna send some 9 volts. I guess. And I'll shout out like, hey, today's show is brought to you by Stop the Smoke Detector from Chirping. Whoever's doing their name is.
All right. Well, so what's the best footage that you've seen? What's out there? Is there some good stuff?
I would say the best footage that has been pretty much confirmed, it would be the 2017 videos that came out that were released. There's 3 of them, the Go Fast, Flare, and Gimbal.
Okay.
That y'all can take a look at if you like to. I don't know if y'all seen them before.
That's the orbs, right?
So 2 of them were more like a disc-shaped, saucer-shaped, and then one of them was considered a tic-tac. And that's the one that Commander David Fravor saw. And I
Didn't they want him to like engage with it? And he was like, nah. Like he basically was like, because the guys are super good at math, and he's like, what I just seen, what he's seen it do, he's like, if I shoot at it, I can't hit it
There's
because
no way.
it's too fast.
I mean, you see something that's about 60,000 feet or just below 60,000 feet in the air and then hit sea level in a split second, they know there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
You know, and there's theories that could be our reversed advanced tech. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyone who says they know, they don't. No one knows.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them I imagine is a mixture. You know,
Yeah.
it could be off-world tech, and I think eventually, or before it was at least always. But we have reversed some things. I think we've reversed technology, and we have some things that are way more advanced than we're led on to believe.
Oh, like if you look at the drones like that they use in the military or in the way, like the flying cars, like we're 5-6 years from somebody literally having a drone that flies.
Oh yeah.
They can jump in and fly with.
Oh yeah, there's already companies that have already
Yeah,
that
like
developed it.
that can't be far away because
Yeah.
some of those military drones are bigger than cars already.
yeah.
They're carrying fairly heavy payloads. Like it's just a matter of
Yeah.
time.
I wonder how long they last. And I got a DJI. It's like 15 minutes, and it's like I wonder, like, 30 minutes, an hour they could do. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, you know, and they're gonna keep new technology is gonna keep coming. So it's only a matter of time.
If you have the first one, it's like road legal, and the police don't. You can get away with like any speed and everything. Oh
Yeah.
They pull you over.
Just fly right over.
Like, nah, man, I'm gonna go up.
Oh,
to, like,
man.
I'm gonna go up to 80 feet. What you gonna do?
When we get flying cops, that's what I'm. It's like no.
Yeah.
That's the one angle we have right now.
It's weird how close we are. Like with the drone, like, and I think like what you remember on the Jetsons. Honestly, drones like it's not that far away. I really don't think it
I hope
is.
not.
Yeah. That'd be super cool. I hope we get to see stuff like that in our life.
Yeah.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah. If it's allowed to advance, that's what I'm hoping for too. Is like we can start putting some like, not trying to go into like the gravitational stuff that might be working with these advanced techs, but if we could just take some sort of nuclear power and put it in something like that, and it's just like has unlimited range.
Yeah.
That would be cool, but it's just a matter of that technology being available to private,
Something that always kind of bugs me about, and this even ties in like with the Egyptians and the pyramids and stuff. But it's, and I remember my dad it was I guess Discovery Channel and Nat Geo stuff like that. He was watching some programs, and I would, for whatever reason, if I'd be there, sometimes when Boo and I wasn't traveling, I'd stop and hang out there for a couple of days. So my mom wouldn't be there during the day; it would just be me and him, and he would watch that stuff, and I'd watch it, and man, like some of the stuff they'd show me, like, hey, somebody needs to explain that to me because that changes everything we know. That's a game changer on everything we think that we know about what we believe, what we believe. That changes everything. It literally does. But then they go, and at the end of everything that I'd ever see, I get aggravated because they would fall back to Orion's belt. And it's like, if you want to go to the Midwest, like if you want to go to Indy or St. Louis or Minneapolis, anywhere, you have to go to Knoxville. And you don't have to, but if you pull it up on your maps and it shows you the times, and then when you leave from here to go there, you think, why would I drive way out to Knoxville? But it's like the Orion's belt to the north, from the south. That you got to go through Knoxville. There ain't no way around it. The way the interstate's run, like that Orion, like this planet's round. I don't believe in flat Earth at all.
Oh yeah.
The planet's round, and like, why do they have to come through this specific line of stars to come here? Like, and they're so far away anyway. That Orion's belt is like that right there. Like, when they make such a compelling argument, and then they throw that in there at the end, it's like, man, you just messed it up because that's the same BS everybody else says. Like, what I guess I've never really got into astrology.
Yeah, well, who knows like what it represents? I mean, because it is so accurate to Orion's belt with the three great pyramids. It's just there's some sort of significance to someone. No telling if there's some sort of like science-based, energetic, vibrational, something like that. Who knows? Or it's just symbolic.
Do you think that people that were 5 feet tall, probably less on average, and weighed 110 pounds and only had a life expectancy of 22 years, built those pyramids?
No.
I don't either.
No.
Did they, like, from one desertous region where they got the stones, which weighed, what, 10?
Like whatever amount of tons, I can't remember, it's like
Is it
20
that,
tons.
it's like 10,000 pounds.
Yeah,
It's insane.
Like 1 ton each.
And they moved them on by wetting the sand And so the rocks would slide
From hundreds of miles.
600 miles.
Yeah.
So where'd they get the water?
And yeah, first off, you're in the
That's
desert.
another thing.
Who would tote the water from where was it from? Like,
Yeah, that's
I'm
one of the
just-
best questions.
I've heard a lot of people say that they come from 600 miles away, and it's like, wait a minute, hold up,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Like,
Yeah.
we ain't really got nothing right now that could haul that.
Mm.
Like, I don't know, maybe can a C-130? Like, I don't know, they haul tanks and stuff.
Yeah, they could. Yeah,
Maybe,
they
but
could. But
how you
in
gonna get
stacking them,
Yeah.
that's just the technology we have now.
And the way they're built, this
It is in the measurement of the base. I'm pretty sure it's the base is equals the precession of the Earth. So, with the precession, there's what I think it's 11,000 something 200 years or something like that. So there's just all these mathematical perfections within it. That how did they even know that? We didn't really know some of this information until the last 100 years.
I don't remember which one of the pyramids they were looking in, and this was like, hey man, like, oh man, I don't remember how long ago Pangea was, but this map was a pre-Pangea map, somehow preserved. It may have been in stone, but it was scaled perfectly. Like if you pieced the continents back together before Pangea happened, it was scaled perfectly. And you may have seen some of this. A lot of this stuff, those maps and stuff, focused on the North Pole actually being like the main spot, like where civilization was.
Our magnetic field was different.
Yeah,
it's shifted
right
into where we are now.
And I was just like, hold up. I was like, how could they find something that old? And like I said, that kind of makes you want to second guess everything we've ever. Like, it's like, hold up, we need to look at this differently.
Yeah, they might not really even know the age of the pyramids, or at least not telling us, because the Sphinx has water erosion on the bottom of it. There hasn't been water since like twice the amount of years that the pyramids were supposedly built. So I think it's 11,000 something years ago there was water in Egypt. We confirmed that, but they may be way older than we even were taught.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Pangea was 200, 300 million years ago.
That's crazy.
300 million?
Yeah, 200 to 300 is what they say.
That's wild.
That's what Google says, anyways. And we trust Google.
Some people think that the Earth is 6,000 years old. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Nah.
It's not.
Nah.
Yeah,
People
it's
really
crazy.
think that?
Yeah,
No,
there's a lot of people.
No,
I
there's
happen
no
to know
way.
a couple. It's crazy.
It's definitely not. In fact, like this, like you may think I'm crazy, and even somebody who has hard religious beliefs about they believe in Jesus or whatever their religious beliefs may be, you can still believe that, and it can be 100% true. But I don't think this is the first time that, like the way we're living right now, the way civilization, the way life is, I don't think this is the first time we've done this.
Absolutely.
Example would be like if an asteroid hit today, 6 months, everything's dead. They know that the planet's 6 billion years old. Like, I didn't realize Pangea was 300 million years, but just say 200 million years goes by, which compared to 6 billion years is not that long.
Yeah.
If 100 million, 200 million years goes by, tell me one shred of evidence that we was ever here. What bridge, road, building, sculptures, like even stuff of stone, like it's all gonna be gone.
It's all going to be buried. That's what I think. It's all buried.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
So, like, I mean, you could take the smartest AI system and run every possible simulation for this planet, run it, and it can do what trillion things a second or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, every time it's gonna come back with, "Oh, y'all screwed."
Oh yeah, for sure. For
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
So
Like,
something's
one
going to happen.
way or another.
1% chance time will eventually catch up to that 1%. It's
like-
gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, like it don't matter how many simulations it runs. The end result is every one of them is gonna be, "Oh no, this ain't got a good end."
Yeah.
Like we're like at some point it will all come to an end.
Whether by us or nature.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I truly believe there are civilizations before the first that we believe, for sure.
Oh, yeah, there's like the ancient Egyptians. There were artifacts that were found that were, however old, super old. I don't know how old they were, but they were shaped like airplanes, like modern day airplanes, like a Boeing 747 or whatever, and they're little figures. And they have them in the museum, and that's what they seem like they're birds, but they're shaped exactly like the modern day airplanes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of makes you wonder, were they able to have stuff like that of some sort, and it's just disappeared,
Or we get a little weird, and they could view the future in certain ways. Like remote viewing is an obvious thing that has happened, and there's documentation from the government to show the military has perfected remote viewing.
Really?
And that includes space and time. Because, time's a construct, so you can pretty much travel through time. We're getting kind of weird here.
That's not like weird.
You can, documentation proves that this has been successful. So if they were doing that back then, could they have seen technology that we had today? They're making sculptures about it. So it's just like, I don't know if that's the case, but it's an option. It's a possibility. It's a theory.
And this is somebody that's saying, this is someone else saying that there's actually documentation of this stuff, or is it out there that we can find?
Yeah, on the internet.
It is out there.
Project Gateway. Yeah.
Project what?
Gateway.
Project Gateway.
Yeah.
What would you, like right off the top of your head, if you could travel in time?
Oh, where would I go? 100%. I'm going to Woodstock.
That's a great answer.
That's my first
That's
one.
the most easy shit to
That's a
say.
good answer.
Actually, when I thought I was like time travel, I was like, I'm probably gonna go back and I'm gonna buy 75% of Apple.
No, buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin back in like 2009.
Well,
you
that
need
too.
way less
Oh my
money to
gosh.
do it.
Bro,
It's just straight up
you
Back
don't
to
wanna
the
get-
Back to the Future 2.
I have Bitcoin nightmare stories.
Do you?
I never bought it, but I won some money betting online.
Yeah.
And like a couple $100 into just an astronomical number. And my son was like, no, you didn't. And I showed him, let him see my accounts, and he was like, and they love to deal in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I didn't have hardly any money into it at all, and it was in the tens of thousands. And he's like, just put it in Bitcoin and forget about it. And at the time, Bitcoin was probably like $20 a coin.
Oh, it's
$15, $16 a coin.
Yeah.
This was like
Yeah.
2018, 19.
You ever looked up to see how much that would
And,
be nowadays?
and I did it like 3 different times.
Yeah.
And I never did the, and if I would have, oh, Lord.
Oh, dude, for sure.
I would honestly, like we figured it up a few months ago, I would have like 10 Bitcoins right now, which is, it's still what, 100 G's
Yeah.
right at?
But the growth from that would just be insane.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I was dabbling with Bitcoin, buying some things online back in the day, and kicked myself in the ass for it. Just
Man,
never
it's
thought of it like an investment.
Man, I
It's
guess
just what
it's
you
just
had
my
to
age.
use to,
If I can't
do some
touch it,
things on
if
dark.
I can't touch it, it's not, like, I don't know. That was my thing. That's why I didn't.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
had I listened to him, and he says that one Bitcoin will be worth over $1 million one day.
That's wild.
I don't doubt it.
Off topic, but yeah.
Let's invest in Bitcoin then, I guess.
XRP.
Maybe the aliens are in control of the Bitcoin.
Who? The aliens?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So,
do you...
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So, do you think that aliens live amongst us?
That's literally what I was gonna say.
I think some do. Yeah, I think there's
Yeah.
some of them that we just really wouldn't be able to recognize unless we really looked at them. And even then, who knows? This was considered the Nordics that are, we supposedly have genes from, possibly, stuff like that. But there's all these different types of species. Oh yeah, if we saw the mantises, we would immediately know.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. But a gray alien or something like that, those actually are.
Have you ever
out
scrolled
there.
TikTok at like 2 or 3 o'clock on a Saturday night?
No.
Like, I'm
Plenty
pretty
of
sure.
grays on there.
I'm pretty sure I've seen some.
Yeah.
If there's anybody from other
Yeah.
planets I've come across,
Yeah.
like late night TikTok. I don't know. It turns
Yeah.
into like, I don't know if you guys remember chat roulette.
Yeah.
That was
Oh, yeah.
a lot. Yeah. That you never, like, it's like JV chat roulette. Like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure I come across. I've seen a vampire. I've seen some witches. I've seen some pretty wild stuff on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
This dude that casts spells on people and stuff. That shit's hilarious because he dips his hand in this water and he does this sound and he does like this Bruce Lee move, and like they finally kicked me out because every time he do, I was like, that's my favorite part right there. He brings the people up in a little box and they have to say like something daddy, they call him. It's not Big Daddy, but It's something. They have to say something. Would you please cast it? And he cast demons.
Oh my
and they're
God.
like, and they're like, oh, you was up last week. And he's like, how did your demon work out? He's like, oh, he got me through the week. I was like, man, it did. Man, he had like 800 people watching. I don't know if.
Wow.
I think like 30 of them were part of his cult, and I think the other 800 and something were sitting there like most of us are sitting there like me watching, going,
Just curious.
man, what the hell have I scrolled across the night? Like it's just the stuff that people will believe.
Oh yeah.
That's a big thing with UFOs, because this guy that worked on my pool, man, I hope he sees this. But he's older than I was, and somewhere right around where I live at, it was in 1978. He's like, I had a UFO land in the road in front of me or something. I forgot exactly what he said. And he had a young guy there that was working with him, who was probably younger than my kids, around the age of my kids maybe. And he wasn't around in 1978. And his buddy, but when he was telling me, I was like, really? And I was like, well, what had happened? And he said, it come down, it was a bunch of different color lights that sit there for a minute, then it took off, and I was like, was you doing any other? I asked him, I was like, because he looked like a little hippie dude. I was like, was you doing any LSD in the 70s? And he's like, no. And I was like, you sure you didn't see something else? And and it was so funny, because the guy that I guess worked with him and come around with him, well, he had him sold. He goes, no, for real, he saw it. And I'm thinking like, and I was like, I looked at him, I was like, man, you wasn't born in 1978. I was like, you don't know what he saw. And we kind of left it at that. And when he got done doing the work he had to do on my steps, he did some fiberglass work. He did a crap job. And it got pretty heated out here, because he was standing on the other side, and I'm standing right over top and looking at him when they're done, going, And he's standing on the other side, and they just put the white epoxy. He's like, look, brand new from over here. And I was like, it was like shit from right here. So it kind of got heated, and man, I was calling him like UFO boy. But like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that dude's seen a UFO. Like, I've just seen too many other stories like man.
Online it's the same thing. There's a lot of grifters out there. People just trying to like get likes or money and just trying to be involved in this, and you gotta weed those people out. And it's the same for everyday people too.
Like I said, when I was a teenager, we experimented one time, and man, 12 of us saw Darth Vader at one time. So I'm just telling you, I don't think that dude's seen a UFO. Like I said, this was in the 70s. I didn't grow up in the 70s. I was go after that.
Yeah.
And we saw Darth, because I remember seeing him and asking my buddy, I was like, man, I hope you don't see what I see. And he said, I hope you don't see Darth Vader. And I was like, all right, I don't like feeling like this. And he walked through it. We was on the beach, man. It was all dark and stuff. And you could hear him breathing. He walked right through all of the stuff. Like, I kind of got chill bumps a little bit. Like, and my girlfriend and my friend, it was like, it was a group of us down there, but we were right there together. And I was like, I remember I looked at her and I was like, I'm gonna go home.
I'm scared.
Yeah, it was,
so all of y'all saw a Darth Vader that.
No, not Ada. We saw
the
Darth Vader.
The Darth Vader.
It wasn't a dude in a costume or anything.
Nah.
So you believe in Darth Vader?
Man, I don't know what we saw, bro. I don't. Like I said, we were on a scientific experiment.
Yeah.
And that was probably
for everyone to see the same thing.
That was the last time I ever experimented like that.
Really?
When 12 of you see Darth Vader, it changes your perspective.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore.
That's something from the same batch for sure, but that's very rare for everyone to see the same hallucination.
Yeah, it was.
Unless you're on DMT, I guess.
The hallucination podcast will be maybe next week or something. I'm sure we all have stories from, if not our own, people that have dabbled in that, and everybody has a crazy story about that, because I've got one too.
Yeah.
But we'll share that another time.
So, like, you do think they're around, they're around us and stuff, like what about, do you think that they actually are going underwater? Because a lot of the people seem to think that they're coming out of the ocean. I've seen all that stuff.
Where would be the best place to hide a base? where we travel or where we are the least
And where we
in
don't
the
go.
ocean.
What
You
is,
know?
like,
when are we going to go?
10% of the ocean we've explored or something like
And
that.
there's plenty of videos that, you know, show transmedium is what they call them, where they can, there's no difference in this, pretty much there's no difference in the surrounding of, from being in the air and the water for these. They don't have any type of wake behind them. There's no slowing down when they go into the water, same consistent speed. So it just kind of goes to show that there's more evidence to show there is some sort of force around them that is allowing them to move without propulsion.
Who is
wild,
the Equinox?
The Anunnaki.
Yeah, the Anunnaki. That's aliens, right?
Yeah, that was like Zachariah Sitchin was an author who wrote about, you know, all that, and some people believe it full-heartedly. Some people, you know, think it's a lot of BS. But what people do believe is that we were, you know, bred by them to be created. I think the Anunnaki were mining for gold, is how the story goes, and they needed slaves. Slave labor, and that's how we kind of came about. And you know, there's all kinds of other stories like Enoch and, you know, Enki. I think Enoch was like he was on our side, and his brother Enki. It's like Lizard Kings. It's wild. And basically tries to tell them, well, they shouldn't be slaves and things like that. So the Anunnaki, there's a lot behind that kind of gets kooky. You know, I wouldn't be. There's a huge evolutionary.
They were
theory for
tied to
us.
the Egyptians and stuff a lot, right?
I don't know. I don't know if they were tied to. Some people believe, I guess they were, but I think the Samoans is where like the Enki and Enoch, like the Samoans were like the first, like civilization that we know of.
Right.
And there's a lot of stories from them that the Samaritans, that's where that story of the Enki and Enoch came from.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Now, don't people believe that the Mayans, somebody come and pick them up?
Could have. Who knows?
Nah.
They just disappeared, man. Probably a disease. Could have been.
I was about to say, I know they were making this calendar, and remember, because it was supposed to be the
2012.
Yeah, the end. It was supposed to be
That's the
yeah,
end of the
December
Mayan
21st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thought the whole time I was like, no, it's not. I was like, yeah, like they're, because everybody's like, oh, they were a smart, advanced civilization, like. But they weren't smart enough not to drink their own dirty poop water.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what killed them off.
Yeah,
Like,
it could have been.
you know, after enough time, I mean,
Well, people were debunking that because they didn't account for leap years, you know. So
Yeah,
technically,
that's right.
the calendar should have ended
Yeah.
way before it did.
Yeah.
Supposedly, is what some
like
people
they
say.
stopped making the calendar because they clearly died off. Whatever the reason was, whatever
Yeah.
happened to them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's why they stopped making it.
Mhm.
Like I never had one fear of the Mayan calendar. Like it never. even
I went to work that day. I wouldn't have gone to work.
Yeah.
Any type of feeling.
like
So if today's it, I'm definitely not going to spend my last day at this job.
Yeah.
yeah, man. Like I don't know if it was when I was a kid, because I'm older than you guys, but man, when I first started hearing about Nostradamus, I was like, man, this dude, and like, oh, end of the world. Like, man, I think I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in my lifetime the world was supposed to end 3 times, according to Nostradamus. Like that dude was just writing some stories or something.
Yeah, I think he got like some sort of things right, and so we just kind of like blew it up. But I think he was.
I can't remember the stuff he did get right, but
It was on like History Channel.
well,
out there for a
it
while,
just seems
but,
so coincidental.
Yeah.
You know, like
Uh-huh.
if you write enough crazy stuff,
Yeah.
like I'm telling you right now, I can sit here and write 20 crazy stories. One of them's gonna happen,
Mm-hmm.
in some way, shape, or form. And
Yeah.
oh, Pete can predict the future.
Yeah. Well, we do have the videos that we're going to watch amongst ourselves. We'll put the links up at the end in the comments.
Yeah,
And
we're just getting started, and I'm terrified of a copyright issue, so we're not gonna. We don't like. But with the stuff he's gonna show us some cool videos. And you said you had a video of the one you filmed also.
Yeah, on my phone, I got a little small video I can show you guys.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like seeing stuff like that.
And so that they also had the government. Didn't they have like a congressional hearing
Yep.
about? Is it the UFOs or the what's the other word they were using
UAPs.
for it? UAPs. What's the right way to? What are we talking about?
I say both, you know, but I think they were trying to get the stigma away from UFOs.
Okay.
Because UFOs for decades and decades has had this stigma behind it being cuckoo.
Okay.
So I think when it became the government was going to start releasing things and start becoming a serious topic, they wanted to try to make it a little more serious. So.
So this congressional get together and tell all, like, I call bullshit.
Really?
Well, because
there's been a few of them.
I know, but do you really think these Congress people can keep their mouth shut?
No, I think that's why they don't know. That's what the hearings were about. So the hearings were about Congress questioning the witnesses or whistleblowers, because they are kept in the dark.
I thought the people who are in the know said, man, we got to talk to Congress. Like, look here, this is what's going on.
Yeah,
but y'all can't tell nobody.
Yeah, there's a lot of
stuff.
Because
I fully believe that, like, maybe half of them be like, man, we ain't allowed to say nothing. But at least half of them are going to be like, oh, I'm telling, like, everybody wants to sell a book or, like, like, if I was in there, they'd be like, man, we know about Roswell, we know about Kennedy. Like, we're going to tell you, but you can't tell nobody. I'm like, I ain't going to say nothing. Like, I'm already going cha-ching. I'm like, you better not tell me. I'm telling everybody. Especially if it was any dirty, shady stuff, I'm snitching.
Yeah. They just let out a bunch of the Kennedy stuff, though. They just declassified all that stuff.
People digging through it.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I went through and looked.
I don't think there's really crazy much.
Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot, really.
They have a new way of redacting to where they just blank out pages. There's no black lines anymore, it's just white. So they're like literally have official blank pages of just fully redactions.
They're talking about, we'll release everything. We'll release all 200 pages, but maybe 100 of those pages are going to be blank. That's ridiculous.
And like, whatever the government does know, if they really knew some crazy stuff about UFOs, man, I'm telling you right now, like, Independence Day is the movie is an extreme version. But if some big ships start showing up in the sky all over the planet, it's gonna freak some people out. Pandemonium is real. I mean, it's honestly like kind of a scary thing. Like, man, like.
Well, that's why they're doing a slow drip of disclosure, I feel like, because, I've been paying attention to this for a long time. We have come a long way the way we were 10 years ago. And I just wish we'd rip the Band-Aid off. But I guess I can see why they'd want to do like a slow drip of disclosure so people can get acclimated to it. That's why more people need to pay attention to it. Because it is happening. It's just people are too busy with their lives or whatever and don't have interest in it. But
personal thoughts, what do you think they're trying to do?
As far as what?
Them coming here. What do you think they're trying to do? What's their plan? They trying to just get information?
Yeah, well, they started showing up a lot in the 1940s when we had the first nuclear bomb go off.
Yeah.
And I think it's basically at that point the kids are playing with matches, something like that. Keep an eye on us, making sure we're not gonna blow each other up.
Okay.
I think some of them have science stuff going on here, experiments, whether it be us or other things.
Yeah.
I think there's multiple things going on.
Okay.
There's there's theories with the abductions. There are theories that there have been dealings that we trade advanced tech for some factions to be able to get a certain amount of abductions of humans a year. And there's been a lot of missing people over the decades that have no explanations about it.
What do you think about that?
I would be so if they were like, yeah, you're getting abducted. Like, for what? Like, we're trading you for.
Oh yeah, well, I don't think you have a say so.
Like,
I think it's just happening.
Like, I would be so pissed if I was one of them.
Oh my god! It's like you wake up and you're like, what is going on?
Like, they say like it's like forever, and look, we presented you with all the. I was like, oh, all right. I mean, they can sell me on it, but more than likely, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, they might send me back.
We cannot handle this guy. Pete is too much. Give him back. Let's try somebody different.
Oh my god. Bitches, like the aliens, how do they say it? He bitches every day.
He doesn't shut up.
That's awesome.
We can't have him here.
Oh man.
So we haven't got any work done in the 2 months that we've had him.
People that have been, some of those people that say they've been abducted, like they're, like,
One of the most famous ones, Travis Walton, is a pretty compelling story. It's, who knows, I don't know if I 100% believe it because I don't 100% anything I haven't seen.
What's his name again?
Travis Walton.
Travis Walton.
And he experienced it. Like he like woke up in there, whatever, and saw them doing work on him, start freaking out, and I think that's all he really remembers. But he was gone for like days. There were search parties for him. He's a logger, and his friends that were there with him, even people who didn't like him, were there and said, "Yeah, this motherfucker disappeared for 3 days. I think it was 3 days.
Wow.
And then came back, and he came out with this story that he was abducted, and they."
Tell you what, that just gave me the chills though. He looks like an alien though. But that kind of gave me the chills.
Is that Mike Lindell? That is the mop. I wish you guys could see it first. I'm sorry.
The My Pillow guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that guy? Oh, he does look like with the mustache.
It does. Like, seriously. Like, if he had a pillow under his arm or something, alien abduction.
Oh my. But the first thing that popped up about him though says he's an actor.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go.
So
yeah,
you know.
That's well. Honestly, did you Google it?
Of course.
Watch out for Google.
Google says it is widely
pointing you in different directions than you should be,
even by believers of UFOs and alien abductions.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
So his is the most legit.
Yeah, well, one of the most famous and kind of compelling.
Compelling. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple other ones out there, but no one really knows. Anyone who says that they know, they don't know.
That's true. It's true. Just the people that for whatever's happening, those people, they're the ones that know, and whether they can explain it well enough to everybody else.
Y'all probably never seen the movie Cocoon, did you?
Oh, I have.
Yeah, I think I did actually.
Remember when he's in the pool with the alien chick?
I'm not sure I didn't see that.
And she turns into like that light and she buzzes all around and he's sitting there like watching and and he's like, oh! I would so do that. Like, yes.
Oh, so questions. Here we go. I've got questions. So, in theory here, if you guys were Captain Kirk, from Star Trek,
yes,
would you have got with the blue and the green girls,
yes,
the alien
absolutely,
girls?
yes.
Yeah?
Well, yes.
Yeah, if they were like octopus looking or things like that, they're like human.
Oh, I mean, those the good looking aliens, yeah. I probably would have too.
Yeah.
Captain Kirk is.
I mean, if it's just a skin color,
he's the.
But they are aliens.
Yes, though.
Captain Kirk is a universal lover. Like, but in the chicks, he did. Like, not only was they might have been blue or green or whatever color, but not only was they super hot. They were like the leader of their planet too. It wasn't like just some regular person. Like he went down. He saved the planet. The leader of the planet's like
it'd be a disservice if you did.
Never messed with an Earthling before, but you're kind of cute there, Captain Kirk. Like, Kirk was a man. My girlfriend is I think she was a Trekkie back in the day. She could probably speak on it. Like not we'll get back on, but what was it? One of the Star Trek movies where Spock was in his mating season time.
Oh yeah.
And they had to lock him up. So you didn't kill everybody because Spock. They had to take him back to Vulcan to get hooked up with a girl.
He sounded like super aggressive if he couldn't get it.
Yeah, and he was Spock was bugging out because it was time for him to do it, and they had to go back to Vulcan.
That's a Spock block right there.
So you guys haven't seen that one?
No, I haven't.
Hey, somebody, am I wrong about that? Tina, help me out. She's watching probably.
So you said that you did say that you had a surprise, something you wanted to talk about. Do you remember what it was?
Oh yeah.
Let's go ahead and get it out.
But I was going to go into it. But do you think Scott Baio is an alien?
Scott Baio.
Wait a minute.
Is that?
No. John Stamos.
My God.
Do you think John Stamos is an alien?
No.
Because you pretty much sit here last week and said he was out of this world. Yeah.
Let me go ahead and straight. Let me set this straight.
You said. Let me quote. John Stamos is a good-looking man.
Okay, so we were. I can't remember what we were talking about, but I did say that John Stamos. I said that I was perfectly fine with my sexuality, and that John Stamos is a good-looking guy, and I said that. Also, you can ask any woman in this world, and they will probably tell you that John Stamos from Full House is one of the sexiest men out there. That's not my words. I said he's a good-looking guy. I did not say he was the sexiest man. That's coming from, most women will probably say that.
Like I said, out of this world. Why are you dodging the question? Do you think he's an alien?
I don't, and I don't think he's out of this world, but you know, he's an attractive man. You know, and I can say that because I feel like I'm an attractive man, so I'm good with my sexuality here. Sorry, did I kick your shoe?
No, I was just.
Don't move away just because we're talking about Stamos.
I would like, wow, Chris, like you shouldn't say that stuff. But that, guys, I might edit that stuff down. Like, I can't help it.
Hey, he's never gonna let me live it down ever. He was talking about making a little TikTok reel with me saying that on there.
I like John Stamos is a good man. Just over
yeah,
I don't want to say too much because I don't want it to get done to me.
He's a drummer. He's a pretty good drummer.
He played for the Beach Boys.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He for years.
Yeah, because you play in the band with Chris, right?
Mm.
Drummer.
Yeah. And Stamos he's a decent drummer. I was watching videos of him the other day doing it.
Yeah, dude. He's what? So yeah, he is a great drummer though. He's a man. But I don't think he's an alien. I don't think that I've ever seen any at all. I've never had any experiences, you know, other than just looking up and, you know, seeing like the what I think are stars or satellites, and they're going straight and then they cut off to the side. But other than that, I mean, do you think you've had any, Pete?
Just that one time that I seen when I was a little kid.
No.
And Darth Vader.
Like the story that really gets me the most. I looked it up just to refresh my memory, and it said 1994, but they talked about this on an episode of Joe Rogan. I can't remember who was on there, but where a disc type thing landed at a school in Africa.
Yeah.
But it seemed like but it was several years later. They got all these kids back together, and nobody's story changed.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's it. Like I was like,
And what year did that round about?
I think you're right. It was the 90s.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure. I can look it up, but that's one of the most famous ones there.
And I believe somewhere in Brazil the same thing happened, but somebody got unalived by it.
Well, during the congressional hearing, one of the whistleblowers, who's like an intelligence officer, David Grush, he did say that there have been, injuries by non-human intelligence.
Really?
And I don't think that is, my personal opinion is that it's not on purpose. I think that when you're approaching something of such a different origin, or whether it be the craft could be giving off radiation, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're killing people whatsoever, but I think that there's accidents happen and people do get hurt.
Like how are they dying? Is it like from being hit by something?
So I think the ones that I've known of, he didn't go with specific details, but radiation is mostly what I've heard of, like get some sort of sickness and pass away.
Yeah, the guy, because it was like the Brazil incident and the African incident were very similar, except nothing happened to any of the kids because they brought them like several years later. They brought them all back and it was like, man, let's retell this story. And like, I mean, they were little kids. Kids were, some of them were 4 or 5 years old, and they remembered exactly what they saw. One of the older did.
Yeah, that's wild.
If you guys, I think all that stuff is just go watch the 1994 Africa UFO encounter. It's a school encounter.
And anybody that's listening too, if you've got some good UFO stories, put it in the comments and tell us. We'll talk about them. Maybe on a different podcast, but put them in there because I like UFO stories. You never know.
Yeah, one of the most resounding similarities with every encounter that people have when they actually do encounter the physical beings is telepathy. And they speak to them through their minds.
Okay, so that's like Independence Day then, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. Less violent.
I just wonder if any of that stuff's true. That would be crazy. Like the stuff that they talk about in Roswell back in the 60s, 50s or 60s.
Roswell was 47.
47. So they claim that they have actual aliens from that.
Bodies, yeah.
And that would just, I saw some of the videos and stuff, but it's real grainy and it honestly looks fake. But
you don't think the presidents would have told?
If any of them would have told it, it'd be the one that we got now.
Yeah,
he would have come out and said it.
I just don't see him sitting on that.
Or
maybe he was just like, hey, we can't tell him.
I think there's certain things you cannot say, and we've had a president assassinated, And JFK, he was assassinated by inner workings, and we can talk about that another time. But I think there's certain things you cannot say, or you will. You don't. Being the president does not put you on the top totem pole.
So let's go back to that. Do you think, your personal opinion, do you think that JFK, what happened to him, you think that was an alien related thing? Like maybe he was trying to let out some information and somebody got him?
A lot of people do believe that, but I don't think so.
Okay.
There's a lot of other things that were going on at the time too that could have been more,
Okay.
more.
Man, I think it was the mafia.
And they were involved. They were the ground workings of it. Yeah, for sure. They were running
Well, he made some kind of promise to the unions and didn't hold up to it. Was I don't remember exactly, but like I know how them dudes got down back then. Like,
he was trying to disband the CIA. He was going to literally dissolve the CIA, and he fired Alan Dulles, who was the head of CIA, because he gave him false information about the Bay of Pigs. Well, turns out who they put as head of the Warren Commission did the investigating of the JFK assassination was Alan Dulles. So there's some inner workings there.
Yeah.
A lot of people involved.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
He should have closed the roof. Didn't his wife say, "Hey, let's close the roof"?
Oh yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Let's roll out like this.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk JFK another time.
There's more there.
Everybody's just got their opinion on it.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't born yet.
Yeah.
If you was born when JFK happened, don't take it personal, but you're pretty old. Don't take it personal. She was pretty old when JFK. That was it 62?
3?
3, yeah.
Somewhere right around there.
Yeah, I think it was in November 63, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So let's see some footage of some UFOs,
Alright, cool.
because I some of this stuff I may have seen, but
And you can tell us. Oh shit! Sorry. And,
You want me to mute it, right?
Yeah, mute it and just tell us what we're watching.
Alright, cool.
and I'll put a link to these so you guys can go check it out too.
So the first link is all 3 of those videos that were released by the government in 2017. It was a group of people. To the Stars Academy was at the time they're the ones that leaked this to the public.
Okay, and this is the stuff that was in Jersey?
No, so the Tic Tac and the U.S. Nimitz video was off the coast of San Diego.
Okay.
And then the other 2 were off the East Coast.
Okay.
Those 2 were in 2015. U.S. Nimitz was in 2004. And David Fravor, who I'm sure y'all have seen and heard of, he was associated with the U.S. Nimitz Tic Tac video.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see what we got.
This is the Go Fast. And so there's no propulsion coming off of it. This is a fluorescent infrared.
Wow.
And it switches to black hot. So it there's a heat signature for white, heat signature for black means the same thing. They just can choose the options there.
Okay.
But right now the pilots are freaking out like, oh, got it. It was pretty impressive to them, but they were able to lock on.
Yeah, it looks like some kind of sphere. This is the USS Nimitz Tic Tac video.
Here it is. So this is actually the gimbal one. So it'll start to like turn here in a second. It's just named wrong. U.S. Nimitz up there. The whole video is.
Okay.
And it's kind of giving off a glow,
Yeah.
And there it is. There it starts to rotate. And this is the Tic Tac.
And in these videos, they're talking, like the people that are looking.
The first 2.
Okay.
Now, was this done with a 360 camera?
No, I don't.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think they have like what we can't see. The pilots do have another heads-up display that does show kind of like an aerial view of the plane or the jet, so they can kind of see what's going on around them. But this is just the infrared, camera.
And see, this is the problem that I have with the UFO footage is that all of it looks like this. No matter if it's the U.S. military or if it's the regular person, it's always blurry and you can't see anything.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
It is.
Yeah,
It
sucks.
is.
Yeah. Yeah, with all the technology we have now, I mean, I've tried to film stuff in the sky with my phone, and it's grainy every time. You can't get a clear video, so it makes sense that most of them aren't.
Yeah.
It just kind of does suck that we have the technology we have now and can't get a good, clear video. Now, there's a couple other military videos I got too. So those are declassified by the government and considered, they have no idea is what they're saying what those are.
Okay.
So,
Those were the ones that were filmed by the pilots, right?
yeah.
Isn't that the one, the guy that was the pilot that was on Joe Rogan? He showed one of those videos. He showed, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, David Fravor's been kind of all around the podcast realm, and then Ryan Graves. Ryan Graves is another pilot, and he's kind of come to the forefront of safety for pilots because what they experienced on the East Coast was some of these things and coming into their airspace, and at times two jets would cut through one, which would be very dangerous. So he's pretty much at the forefront of like figuring out what these are for safety reasons for the pilots because they have no idea. They're being told nothing.
Yeah.
And so they're out there just like, what the hell's flying around us? And that's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
But what they saw was a cube inside of an orb, a clear orb.
This is on one of my old YouTube channels, PeteMoss on the Fly.
Oh,
What does that say right there?
that's amazing UFOs caught on video. 12 years ago. Where were you at? Brown Mountain?
Look at the angle of the house. At the end of the video, I showed that. What is that? It's coming from the sky.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's kind of going like that.
And it looks like it could be like.
And if like I can send you that, and if you pull it up and pause it, those are perfect circles.
Yeah.
On the video.
Now,
what
is it though? Did you ever figure out what it
What
was?
does it say it is? It's
I see
it
this.
says
I see
amazing
UFO.
UFOs caught on video.
So, I mean, is that what you think they are? Or do you think that it was something? I mean, the way they were coming, a lot of them are doing the exact same motion, like it's a light.
Well, they were taken off.
Yeah, so orbs like that are probably the most common sightings, like at night, like just the round orbs in the sky.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, the videos that I've seen, and I hadn't seen one at night like that yet, but friends of mine that have, they all saying the same thing. They're like, it's usually 3 of them at least, and they're kind of moving together. Huh. And it's almost like they're working together.
See, that's why I panned down, because I wanted to show where the house was at. Like where the houses were.
That's right. 12 years ago. Was that over in like Mount Holly when you lived over there?
In Dallas. Man.
That's
You're
crazy.
not supposed to ever tell.
Oh shit.
Bottle rocket. Not bottle rockets, but a Roman candle.
Is that what it was?
It looks good though, don't it?
See, no, that's what I was thinking it was some sort of firework.
But it was really, like I said, when I paused it on the video, when I was editing the video and I paused it, I was like, oh, this is dope. These are perfect freaking like, man, it couldn't have been a more perfect stuff.
Well, now we got AI on top of that with the fake videos.
Yeah.
So it's hard to weed out.
That's how easy it is to make like, oh, look at this. Like all the drones were flying around in New Jersey a few months back. Mm-hmm. Man, I've seen so many videos on TikTok. It's this and that. Like, man, that's not how it's going to be when aliens come to see us. I don't think that's how it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to be.
Nobody knows how it's going to be.
Yeah, no one really does. Everyone's got a theory. But even those the New Jersey drones, we still know what they are. They weren't FAA approved because that's what the government says they were after the fact. But for weeks and weeks before that, the FAA was like, we don't know what they are. So that's proof there that it's either a foreign adversary that don't want us to know that they have technology like that coming from our oceans to see us, and drone technology that can fly a very long time, longer than our drones can right now.
Yeah.
Or it's some sort of impersonating. Some believe that it was extraterrestrials impersonating our technology, which who knows?
Yeah, who knows? So what was that thing that we blew up that was right off of our coast over there?
The balloon.
Was it a balloon?
Yeah, it was a satellite. Well, not satellite, but it had solar panels on it. They were collecting some sort of data.
Was it like Chinese or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, they said it was Chinese.
Okay.
Like I 97% believe it was, but who knows?
I definitely don't think it was extraterrestrial. There's some sort of adversary.
But there's reason to bring up question like, if it was Chinese and the personal, like the places that it was going across, the military places, stuff like,
Silos
really,
and shit.
y'all not gonna shoot something like that
Yeah,
down?
our
Like,
military
you
silos,
know it's
nuclear
Chinese,
silos are
like,
over there.
they've already established Chinese, and you're not gonna eliminate that. Like, it's kind of all that was like when stuff like that's going on. Always look at the other news, or man,
Yep.
there's really people with a lot of power out there, and if they want to do something, they will very well create some kind of distraction.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
They make you pay
So-
attention to this, so there's
Yeah.
other stuff's going on that we
Yeah.
don't want you to really pay attention to right now.
Operation Northwoods is a government program that was basically a act of something that was staged in order for us to join a war. You know, that's a CIA
Yeah.
document right there that the government could literally come up with anything to make it seem like, you know, someone's attacking us to where we have to go to war now and be cool with it and get Congress to agree to do it.
Right.
So that's another angle as well. But you'll see the next one. So this one here is called the Jellyfish, and it's become pretty famous over time.
No,
And we don't have to watch the whole thing. It was like the best video I could find. It's like 3 minutes. So just tell me when y'all want to start watching it. But this is over a military base in Iraq.
What is that?
Right? It's 2018, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's pretty crazy.
Right?
And this is actual military footage here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And this is infrared as well.
What you think about that, Pete?
I don't want to see it in person. That's for damn sure.
Swamp gas.
That's crazy, man. The jellyfish.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah, this is a crazy video. This it's just like floating over these like little shacks in Iraq, and it looks like something out of like the Iron Man movie or something like that. It's really strange, or like the Transformers movie or something.
Yeah.
This is one that we'll definitely have these links up in the comments. Y'all should definitely check this one out. This one looks, I mean, it just looks crazy.
Yeah. And, you know, some people say like a helium balloon, but it's
It's
consistent, it's moving
That's
fast,
bullshit.
It's got like legs.
yeah.
Or that almost looks man-made.
And
In
there's
some parts.
so there's no propulsion here at all, and it's on infrared, so you'd be able to see a heat signature, and there's not. So this goes on into also like, you know, they might have force fields around them that are allowing them to transverse, and you know, who knows, but and there's also the question of, you know, is this extraterrestrial or is it interdimensional? There's a whole other, you know, rabbit hole to go down.
Wow. That's
Because
cool.
it just showed up, you know?
Yeah.
No one really knows where it came
Right.
from.
That's
I
wild.
wonder, like, why is there nobody outside to see it?
Why is there nobody out there?
Yeah, why is there not camera footage as well from phones at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know?
I mean, we passed over 200 shacks, and look, there's two people right there, but did they even notice it?
Probably not. I mean, this is, I guess, and relatively to the sky, it's pretty small.
Okay.
To us, like, they're zoomed in on it, but that's the only thing I can think of as well, is because that day that me and Tori saw those metallic spheres in the sky, I didn't see them until she pointed it out.
Yeah.
And then I had to keep focusing my eyes to continuously see them.
Oh, that's
So I was starting to think there could be stuff overhead at any
Yeah.
time and let's see it.
We seen, I forgot, coming back from, it's been like, it was before I had it happy, so it's been about 7 years ago. We were coming back from Texas, and me and my buddy Luke, and we were on I-10, I'm pretty sure, somewhere in between southern Georgia and Alabama.
All right.
Right, somewhere around there. And we both seen it. I mean, it looked like it was about 300 or 400 yards off the road, maybe a little more. But it was just a big, giant blue circle. Like, I don't know if it was perfectly round. I don't know if it was a little bit oval or a perfect circle, but it was blue. And
Like
I mean,
bright
It was
or
like
kinda-
2:30 in the morning. We was driving, like we were kind of, and it's real isolated out there. There's not, it's so dark. There's no hardly light and stuff, and there wasn't, like I said, there's traffic out, and we're just driving, and all of a sudden it's just, and it's like, and it stayed for like 3 seconds and it went away. I immediately looked at him. I was like, "Did you see that?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, I was like, "What'd you see?" He's like, "A big blue circle." And Luke's
military guy. Right?
Oh yeah, heavily like weapon specialist.
Yeah.
He's like, "I don't know what that is."
Huh.
He looked at stuff when we got home.
That's pretty cool.
It could have been ground lightning, possibly.
Yeah, there's like what the ball lightning.
But for it to be so perfectly shaped is like very unusual, and like that's the one thing I do remember. I couldn't even really tell how big it was. Couldn't tell how big it was. I just noticed that it was round.
Huh. That's crazy. I was sitting here thinking while you were talking. The only thing that I have seen is out there at my house, looking straight back to the woods, and I saw a big flash of light, which was probably a shooting star. I imagine it was coming in, but that was the only thing that I can think of that I've seen that was an unexplained kind of thing. It was a big flash of light, and then that was it. That's all I saw, and it lit up the whole sky back there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was that bright.
Yeah, it was super bright.
Yeah.
Super.
You would think a shooting star or like a star would last a little longer than just a flash if it was that bright.
Maybe I'm thinking like whenever it's coming into the atmosphere, sometimes they have they do light up the sky, I guess.
Yeah,
But
pretty quick.
and I was out there with the dogs like 5 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and so that's just what I.
You can see the space station at certain times too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude! You go out there at my house and lay down and look up at night. You can see there's all kind of stuff, man. I got a real nice telescope too, and you'd be amazed at all the stuff you can see up there, even here.
Yeah, you got a big sky out there too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a wide open space.
Man, I was in South Texas and by San Antonio, and it was so dark out there. It's like really the most stars I've ever seen. I've been everywhere.
Yeah.
And they had these night vision goggles that, man, I think I guess, I don't know if they were military grade or above, but I know these people had paid like $12 grand for these night vision goggles. And all the stars you could see, just look it up, it was like,
That's
wow.
insane.
When you use those goggles,
Even more.
we're not alone. There's no way we're alone.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like 1,000 times more than, and it was already, the sky was so incredibly full of stars, and when you put those on, you could see so many more.
You seen those pictures of it's just a picture of just almost filled up the whole blackness of galaxies.
Oh yeah.
And then you realize when you look at the sky, it's only like an inch by inch view you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that is just scattered everywhere, and there's just trillions of galaxies out there. It's insane.
Yeah.
You cannot be alone.
Yeah, looking through just a little viewfinder on my telescope, which I've got a pretty nice telescope, and just looking through the viewfinder on it, not looking through the actual telescope lens, just the viewfinder to try to get give you an idea of what you're looking at. I mean, man, it's so many more stars compared to what you see with the naked eye. Just looking through that thing, it's really cool just to look through that for.
Do the flat Earth people believe in aliens?
I don't know what the flat earthers really believe, man. I mean, so they just think that what about all the water? The oceans, do they just think it falls off into nothing?
I think they think we're on the back of a turtle. There's like that.
What?
Yeah, there's like not all of them, but there is a group that thinks that we're on the back of a large turtle. It's like some joke, but then it turned into people actually believing it. I'm pretty sure.
Oh my god!
But I think it's called the firmament. It's like there's just a dome.
This is a real thing.
Oh, well, yeah, aside from the turtle, there's a dome. Basically, they believe there's a dome over the Earth, and the sun never goes down because it just keeps going around. And then there's the ice wall around. That's what Antarctica is. It's not just an area of ice or an island of ice or continent. It's a actual wall around where we're at now.
Somebody that believes that, okay, how did they get there? That's the first thing I'm gonna ask them. Really? Did somebody build the dome?
Yeah. Right.
Are we a simulation? Is that what we are?
I mean, man, whenever you're up on Everest, you can see the curvature of the Earth up there. I mean,
well, that's their biggest argument from with the planes and stuff like that they don't fly with the curve or something.
That's gravity.
That's flat earthers. That's their go-to argument.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that there was anywhere you could actually see it. You can from Everest?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You can see the curvature up there for sure.
Okay.
100%.
And I mean, videos. I mean, people say they can be doctored, but if you look at videos from like SpaceX launches, it's pretty quick that you can see the curve.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're not fisheye cameras either. They're regular cameras showing the curve.
Oh yeah, Katy Perry and her crew, they probably know
Those
all about
astronauts.
those astronauts. They know all about the curvature of the Earth.
How you wear a helmet without messing your hair up. And I don't know if it was just a. Did you guys see the video where the door opened on the capsule the wrong way, opposite of the pressure?
Yeah.
And like, was it Jeff Bezos? He
open.
fell down. Like I don't know if that was a coincidence that he fell down. Like,
So they're supposed to be in zero gravity though, right?
Well, they don't. This is after they landed. They seem to be a panic about him when they come down, and everything had went great, but there was something. He tripped and fell.
Yeah.
I've seen that video, and there's a video where the door had to be opened up, but the door actually opens inward.
Yeah,
and somebody real quick grabs it, and it's like don't open the door, you dummies.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're supposed to have that door in the opposite position because of the pressure.
Yeah.
You know, and so it makes it could have been staged. I don't know. I mean, I know some of the videos of Katy Perry, people are saying they look doctored up in AI too. So who knows?
I don't.
Who knows?
This is just my opinion. I don't think the space station I don't think it's in space.
Where do you think it is?
It's 225 miles.
It's not in deep space, basically. Yeah.
How far? What is the altitude of the space station?
The space station has an average altitude of 248 miles.
Man, I can drive that in 3.5 hours.
Yeah, right.
That's not outer space, man.
Okay.
You ain't even like a 10% to the moon. You ain't even got past our moon yet.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, that's pretty far out there, though. You know, could you imagine going 200 and something miles below, in the ocean? Like if there was something that was that deep? I mean, that's pretty far, though. It's not outer space, but it's definitely. Would you?
It's way up there.
I mean, I'd say it's space. I wouldn't say like outer space. I mean, there's if there is a level to it, I would say it's amateur space.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely not outer, but it's high up there. I mean, they're in space.
Inner space.
I would say space. Yeah.
Inner space.
What is it the Hubble telescope? Is that the one that we sent way off?
Oh,
Voyager.
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 It sent back some pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Is Voyager the newer one?
Voyager was like launched in like the 70s or something. It's like pretty much out of the solar system.
Didn't it get some
close to it.
communication?
I think so. I think they were supposed to die or something. It was supposed to, and then they got some sort of signal back from it. I can't remember.
So there's that one. There's Hubble, and then what's
James Webb.
James Webb. That's the one that's sending back the super cool pictures. Yeah.
It's looking into the past, like. I mean, it's insane how it's looking so far out into the past. It's insane.
Yeah.
How is it looking into the past?
So light can only travel so fast, the speed of light. And so when you look at the night sky, you see a star up there. You're looking at what that star looks to you now as the light is reaching you, but that star may look completely different now because it's taken however millions of years for that light to reach
it. I got you.
Yeah.
Even at light speed.
Even at light speed.
So it's real, which is like, isn't light speed like 180,000?
Yeah, 100 per second. Or I think it's per second. 182,000 per second.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's fast. We supposedly can't go faster than the speed of light, which is why you got to just find new science of, in order to traverse the stars.
I have seen Barry Allen on TV run as fast as the speed of light. The Flash,
So, with the alien ships and stuff, clearly they can really fly really fast. Like I've seen, I've been around where the jets do it. I've heard Space Shuttle a couple times when they did land in Florida. I've heard the sonic booms.
Yeah.
How come? I wonder why the alien stuff never sets off a sonic boom.
There's no heat, right?
Yeah, my theory is that they're not relatively moving to that spot in a normal sense. If you're able to alter, gravitational force, you can, from what I understand it, bring that to you, that destination to you is how they move so fast. Because if you can shorten what's in front of you and lengthen what's behind you, which way you can do that by manipulating gravity force, you can get there a lot quicker. without ripping your body to shreds with G-force.
Yeah, but the aliens are supposed to have different bodies anyway, so that's probably why they're shaped the way they are, whatever that is, so that they can handle the G-force and the force from space, I guess.
Radiation, all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's wild.
If you had to say somebody was an alien, who would it be? If you had to pick one person, like they might be an alien.
Right off the top of my head, Izzy Pop.
It's a good one.
you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, he very well could be one. Well, what's y'all's?
I'm gonna have to go with Dan DeVito.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
That's
yeah,
funny.
the Penguin from Batman.
Just any version of him.
Ozzy Osbourne would be another just out there crazy person. That's like, how is that explainable?
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one too.
I wouldn't. There's some really strange people out there.
Yeah.
Both of y'all might be aliens.
I was kind of hoping I was.
I wouldn't tell you if I was.
I know you wouldn't too.
Like I'd keep that.
That'd be a cool thing to find out one day, though. Like,
I'm like, I knew it.
yeah.
But he did that one shit that one day.
Chris, when I was a kid, I was like 6 when Star Wars came out.
Yeah.
And this is just my personality. Went to see the movie, was like, I remember getting up and walking out of the theater going, that freaking explains everything. I'm supposed to be a Jedi. I went straight home. The first thing I was going to do is pick the car up in the driveway, spin it around, set it back down, and then go get my mom and be like, I'm a Jedi. The car wouldn't move. And I tried it. I got all the way down to like a paper clip.
Yeah. Starts
Then The Empire Strikes Back came out and gave me some kind of renewed hope. I was trying to figure out who my damn Yoda was. But I never come across that. But yeah, like when I first seen that, I truly thought that I was supposed to be a Jedi. That was the most disappointing thing about Star Wars. Great movies, but
being that age when it came out, I bet that was a huge influence.
Yeah, I bet it did hurt your feelings too, especially after the car incident. Trying to move the car with no luck, and especially trying to move a paperclip. I mean, shit, if you can move anything, you should have been able to move.
Yeah, and like I said, I was a little kid. I was like 77, right? I was like 5 or something. But like, I just knowing me and how I felt about myself. When I remember getting up and as we turned to get into the aisle from our seat, I was like, it hit me. It's like, that would explain it. I'm a Jedi. I must start my training. So I was all hyped up on the way home. I'm sure I went right home and started it over. Like I said, we got out of the car. The first thing I tried to do was, I don't like how I sit in the driveway. I'm turning it around.
Well,
Man, I was so mad.
I bet you were. I hate that you can't, because that would have been really cool if you could. I'd be like, one of my best friends.
I would so be off saving the universe right now.
I would absolutely use that for things in life. I'm like, one of my best friends, he is a Jedi. They're like, well, no, he's not. I'm like, I'll get him over here and get him to move something.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. There's a part of me that would be tempted by the dark side.
That Darth Vader incident's gonna be coming back on you. Is what it is.
Maybe he's your Yoda.
I ain't gonna say that I'm gonna call that one dude Master. The one I can't remember the one that was
the Emperor.
Yeah, the Emperor.
Yeah.
Like I'm not calling him.
Yes, Master.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm like if that's part of the deal, will probably count me out. But some of the other stuff, like I'm just saying, I ain't saying that I would go to the dark side, but like I listen to their offer.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what's happening right now is that we are letting our nerd out here talking about how much we know about Star Wars for one.
That's not that much. But like I'll say this: they lucky that Princess Leia and Luke, who ended up being brother and sister, you're lucky that they didn't decide to kick it with Dad and go the way Dad would, because the rebellion would have been over.
It would have been. It would have been. They would have had the whole family.
Gangster.
Yeah.
Can you imagine evil Leia? No.
It would have been, like, I pull for the bad guy sometimes. I watched Goodfellas last night, and he was talking about the guy that De Niro played.
Oh yeah, the main guy.
The guy that can really
hurt people.
Yeah. And he was like, he's the kind of guy who he pulls for the bad guy in the movie, and I was like, hey, I kind of do that sometimes. If I was ever going to be an actor, if they wanted to screen me for something, yes, I want to play the villain, because in any movie, villain gonna die at the end. You know you are.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But the stuff you get to do during the movie,
Oh yeah.
the villain always has the most fun during the movie.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the most badass person in the movies
Yeah.
are always the villain.
Yeah.
You know, then the
They get to have all the fun during the movie. Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to go at the end, yeah, but you got to go sometime anyway. But
Oh, yeah.
in any movie, the hero gets a raw deal the whole movie.
Oh yeah, go back and look at this is old school Karate Kid. You know, I mean, you know, Johnny was always doing the cool stuff. You know, but he got beat up by the nerd Daniel. You know,
He sucker punched him.
at the beginning he did. Daniel did.
He stole on him. He didn't know, and he found out. Like, what is that? FAFO? Like he was down the beach, been reading his karate book, and decided he's from Jersey and was gonna pop that California boy in the face. He's like, whoops, California boy, damn black belt, he about to bust your ass, Daniel son.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, he was messing with his girl.
He took his girl.
Well, he ended up taking her, but he
He had to pay the price.
yeah.
Yeah. And what was messed up in the movie? We're getting off subject here. Whenever Johnny was in there rolling up his number in the bathroom, and Daniel gonna turn the water on over the top of him, and so he said that was whenever he had his Halloween costume on.
Yeah.
So that was kind of messed up of Daniel to go hit him off while he was in the bathroom doing his thing right there. You know.
And then to run him into letting Mr. Miyagi jump him.
Mr. Miyagi beat the hell out of those
Yeah,
kids.
like he's
I was gonna say you'd go to jail for that now.
yeah, man, he blacked Johnny's eye and stuff.
Some
That
kids
was
need it nowadays. I
Classic
guess.
time.
It was.
Maybe Johnny Lawrence is an alien.
Hey, you never know. You never know. I would love to see something on the news though about, you know, we've actually found the very first alien, you know, and it would be something crazy. We'd have him in handcuffs and there'd be some cops beating him down, or her, you know. But I would like to see it still. I mean, you know, I wouldn't agree with the beatings and stuff like that, but I'd love to see the footage of, we've got the first one, and then you see him, the cops are smashing his head against the car door trying to get in.
And that's why they'll never come here.
If there was
Show
something to
themselves.
do with some aliens and they had to say, all right, we're going to take a certain amount of humans to try to interact with these aliens. Do you want to go and be a part of it? Would you go?
Yeah, I think I would.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you?
They need me, but I don't know if I would go.
Okay, all right. Let's up the ante. They're going to give you $10 million. You got to go spend 6 months with these aliens, and you have to teach them the things that human beings do. They're not going to molest you or anything like that. They want to get to know you, you know, and start to understand why you are the way you are. Would you go then? 10 million, 6 months.
Man, we're talking about aliens, bro.
Man.
I'm like,
You are a money guy. You're not going to go for 10 million.
I don't know, power.
I mean, you got $10 million when you get back. That ain't enough.
Man, you can blow that in the summer. Not for real, like a couple crazy girls in bad habits.
I mean, you got a point. You got to stay off the bad habits.
A lot of people that had $10 million that broke now.
That's true.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That's not a lot. I mean, that's a lot of money, but
That would be enough for me.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I could make that last, I think, and be happy.
For me, it would be the 6 months. Would you do it for 1 month? Or 2 weeks for 10 mil? You hang out with them?
go interact with the aliens.
Yeah, 6 months is a long time.
That is a long time.
Man, it would
I
honestly
would be
depend on who set it up. Do I trust them? Like, there's just certain, like, I don't know, man. Like,
So nobody knows the aliens. They're here, and they're like, oh, you know, we want to pick, you know, one being, one human being that's gonna come with us and show us, you know, the human being way. And you know, they just got here. You know, there's no war. They want their people. You know, that they're here to take a few people and whatever. And they're like, you know, Mr. Pete, we want you for 1 week, and we're gonna give you, you know, $10 million worth of gold. You know, would you do it then?
but you don't know what they're gonna do when they get you.
No
When you get there,
molesting. No molesting.
When you get there, they'd be like, oh, like, all right, so we're here for a week. Well, if you make it through a week, and however they talk like aliens, like, what are you talking about? Like, Well, you and them other 99 people that come with you are about to fight this gorilla.
Yeah, they're more curious than we are. They want to make it
I
happen.
am not trying to be like Republican Neputala. I am not trying to be a survivor show for them.
I got another one then. Another scenario. So the aliens are in charge of the Diddy parties.
Man, from some of the stuff I've heard, some of the stuff I've heard, good chance.
Yeah.
That's Diddy nasty.
He
Like,
is
nasty.
Because like I said, I guess all this is like ain't nothing been proved, but
yeah.
this what. Ooh.
Diddy free.
Like I don't know if you guys have followed that.
Cassie?
What his thing that seemed to be one of his things.
Arousing things.
Like
that's gross, y'all. If you don't know, you can obviously look it up, or you can just watch the news tonight because I'm sure it's going to be on there. But yeah, he into some weird stuff, man. Is it illegal? I don't really know.
I will say this, like a little bit of stuff borderline. Like I ain't really seen nothing illegal. Everything I've seen them talk about so far has just been freaking disgusting.
Yeah, and Diddy just being a horrible person.
To each their own. I mean, like
you can't be whooping up on no girl no matter what. And there's video of him straight beating her up. So if he's guilty on anything so far, it's that for sure. But I don't know if he's
He definitely do time for that.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't play in the NFL, so
Diddy's got Diddy's got his videos, but we can't get a good clean video of a UFO. I would tell everybody if you're filming a damn UFO, make sure you got a good camera.
That's right.
Yeah.
Please,
Get some good footage.
I hope in my lifetime if we're going to interact with them, I want it to happen in my lifetime.
Oh yeah, I would love for them to come down and it'd be like the movie Flight of the Navigator. They're out there in that little shell-looking UFO thing, and then it's this eye that's on an arm that's going around and talking to them and stuff. You've seen Flight of the Navigator, haven't you? Man, that's right up your alley. I'm surprised. You're early '80s is when it came out, I think. So I'm surprised you haven't seen that. But
yeah, as long as it's not Mars Attacks,
yeah, that'd be weird.
That would be yeah.
That'd be weird. Or hopefully it's not like They Live. When you got the glasses on and you can see the aliens that's everywhere. With Roddy Piper in it.
Is that a movie?
Yeah, They Live. You've never seen that one, dude? I'm behind on a lot of new stuff, but you're behind on some old stuff, man. But
I remember when I was a kid, that movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
I was like, nah. I was a little kid. I was like, nah, I don't need that. I don't need to see that.
Yeah,
in real life. Nah,
So you never saw it?
I seen them. No, I'm talking about. I didn't want to really see it happen.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
I'm good on that. Because I think it was a peaceful ending and stuff, but
Yeah,
still, like,
Yeah, but like Richard Dreyfuss, it was him, right? He just goes insane and just leaves his family and goes to it. It doesn't really give a good light to the whole situation.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
That movie was back in the 70s.
I'm gonna say it come out in 78.
Okay.
What's it?
76.
What year was Close Encounters of the Third Kind
74.
released? 77.
All right.
November 16, 1977. We're gonna have to do a Jeopardy challenge. Do we need do we have to have 3 people to do Jeopardy?
No, because sometimes they have 2 if you don't make it to the end. If you don't make it to Final Jeopardy, if you got $0 or negative, you don't get to go to Final Jeopardy.
You just worry about coming in 3rd place.
No. It depends. We gotta have a good subject, man.
Man, the trick to Jeopardy, and you see the people that do good on Jeopardy, don't click that thing if you don't know the damn answer.
Oh, that's the truth right there.
Because then it's the deductions that hurt you.
Yeah.
That's for Jeopardy.
It's embarrassing too when they think they got it and they're like, lost it. It's like, but you never had it.
Yeah.
You never had it.
No, you didn't. Yeah. But it's context clues, man. If you can catch on to the context clues of the questions, you can nail them, man.
Yeah.
I've never been great at Jeopardy. I think the most I've ever got, and this is embarrassing, y'all, but maybe only like 15 or 16. That's probably the most that I've ever got.
Episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got more than that. I've cleared the board a couple times.
No, you haven't.
The entire board?
No,
Or just
like
like
a couple
the
one-
categories.
oh,
Like
category,
like
yeah.
I've cleared
You
like
ran the category.
more than one category.
Oh,
on
okay.
one board. Like
Yeah.
two of them. Like I would have run them out.
I can
Like
get
that'll
you on
score
that.
some points. That'll get you in there.
It will. You got to have good categories too. It's the categories and just knowing.
Final Jeopardy, I'm all in.
Every time?
They're gonna be like ancient philosophers. I'm like, fake.
Yeah, I love that.
Nostradamus.
Hey, there we go. I know one. I know one.
Achilles? I try to write something to where I can say, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what it's like.
Well, that's what it's supposed
I'm
to
a
be.
terrible loser.
Yeah.
I'm probably the world's worst loser.
I know.
I hate losing more than I like winning.
So the feeling is more hardcore for the loss than the win. Like emotionally, I guess.
And I've won, like playing sports throughout my whole life, I've won way more stuff than I've come up short in. But man, the second place finishes, man, they hurt, man.
They're the ones you think about.
Oh yeah,
Years,
they sting. They
Yeah.
sting. Like I've always experienced that. Like probably a lot less than other people have, but man, that's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
There's stuff from when I was a couple games when I was a kid where, man, we come in second to go to the Little League World Series, and we was gonna get to miss. I lived in Florida. Pop Warner practice in pads. The first week and a half or two of school.
Oh yeah.
Like man, it was all kind of, besides getting to play and go to Williamsport and do all that. Like, and it's because we ran out of pitchers. And we was in our bracket was real, like we had a really good team. Because I remember watching the team that beat us and they got thumped by somebody whoever they played in California or whatever.
Sometimes best team don't make it, so that's it. But other than that,
but yeah, so the aliens are among us.
that's what the general consensus is, that aliens are around.
Now wait a minute, the Scientologists believe that a spaceship's coming, right?
Do they?
Pretty
I
sure.
don't know. I know they think the spirits came from volcanoes or something like that, right? When they're like avatars from a volcano.
I thought that.
Right?
What?
Isn't that
I
what they
think
believe?
I have no idea. I tell you what though, one thing I do know is whatever that Scientology, whatever they're made up of, Tom Cruise is not aging.
Yeah, no,
Maybe
yeah.
he's an alien.
He looked. Something I seen recently. He looked a little older. John Travolta's gotten older.
Now Travolta, is he
Yeah.
Scientology?
Yeah.
He's full
Oh,
on.
okay.
Man, that's just weird. Like if if we decided to join, and John Travolta come out with a big sword and cut somebody in half, we're obligated to take care of that for him, so he don't get caught.
Really?
Yes. It's weird, dude.
I don't want to pick up no
Man,
two parts of a body.
Like I'll say this: Scientology is the biggest bunch of bullcrap. What is the value of the Church of Scientology?
Oh,
It's gonna be big.
Good question.
Okay, I found this on the web for what is the value of the Church of Scientology. Check it out.
Of course, it ain't gonna tell you.
I wanted to say it out loud. I want to say like $30 billion.
Good Lord.
Billion. Have you ever seen like a Scientology church?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Miami, St. Louis.
They're huge.
They're amazing. The one in Miami's got a parking garage and it's all lit up. It's like, and the people
Like
live
crazy
there.
architecture.
Like I
Around 2 billion.
$2 billion. Well, still like so.
That's what they tell
What,
you.
was
That's what Google tells us.
I think it was in the 50s when L. Ron Hubbard started that.
Was it?
In San Francisco. Oh, wait, what was going on? That's where some of the early weed smoking was going on. So L. Ron's sitting there, and his friends, they're smoking dirt weed. It ain't no good back then. But they're smoking it. He's puffing on it, and he's like, hey, I have an idea. And his friends are like, what? And he's like, I'm going to start a religion.
A cult.
And then he's like, really? What's it going to be about? Like, well, spaceships coming to get everybody, but the stuff with the volcanoes and this and that. And they're like, man, you lost your mind. Like, that ain't going to work. Like, was it absolutely crazy? and dumb? Yeah. Was L. Ron Hubbard a genius? I can think of. You just looked up 2 billion reasons why. I can say yeah,
A lot
he
of
was.
cult leaders
I
are
guess
some
so.
of the most sophisticated people out there.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, they're not
Like,
dumb.
That's true. That's true. Well, we'll just say they know how to make money.
Yeah,
You know,
they convince people, manipulate them.
Yeah, they're very manipulative. I don't think that's necessarily smart. They're just good at what they do.
I believe the aliens, they're going to be smarter than us. Like, that's what I would be worried about, is manipulating us. Because
Yeah.
I think they could, if they can come here, like, man, for real, that is such an advanced technology above us. They can pretty much do whatever they want to us.
Yeah.
Like, they
The
can,
amount
like,
of time they
just
involved,
to entertain
too.
themselves, they were like, Chris,
Yeah.
you could be stuck at a Diddy party with John Stamos and Baby All.
Look, I just said the man was a good-looking man. I don't want to be at the Diddy party with a bottle of not Vaseline, what is it, baby oil? No.
Well, you know, they didn't talk about this in the.
They're like, can't we? I'm like, I am a
They
boy.
didn't talk about it in the raids. Apparently, I didn't know it. Astroglide played such a big role in it. They keep talking about it.
Really?
I've heard that word like more than I've ever heard it in my life in the last 2 days.
Really?
Yeah.
The Astroglide, huh? Well,
Okay, so one more thing. Like, you know about the asteroid that's, is it 2029? Like March 13th,
Yeah.
2029?
Supposedly it's supposed to be
Well-
close to us.
Well, now the last thing I seen that they were like, all right, we should be safe, but the moon might take a shot from it. And man, if the moon gets hit by a pretty good sized asteroid, that could be an extinction level event.
Oh, it
That
could
would put
be.
a gravity, like,
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Tidal waves.
Like, what do you think about like, do we have a chance? Like we know it's if it's 20, is it 2029?
I think so.
I think it is too.
So we got 4 years. The plan is to bump it with an atomic explosion.
Which we've
What?
been successful in doing. We
This-
have done
yeah,
it
like
before.
This is real? That's true?
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, they've done it. And you got to think, that thing's like, if they just bump it 1 inch,
Yeah.
it's on such a huge orbit, 1 inches could literally be millions of miles.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Over time, yeah.
so like, why would they not go ahead and have a mission to bump it,
Yeah, just do it.
refigure its orbit?
Trajectory, yeah.
Oh, I can-
Because they might bump it and go, uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. We paused it, you know?
I mean, I can tell you why they haven't done it yet, and it's because, what's his name?
Elon?
No. Just like Bruce Willis.
Can't go drill.
Yeah, he can't
He's old,
drill.
can't go drill.
Yeah, he's in rough shape, so
Yeah.
they can't find anybody. Just gonna go out there and, you know.
So instead of teaching oil drillers
Well, yeah,
to become
but Billy-
astronauts, they gotta teach
but Billy-
astronauts to become
no,
drillers.
Billy
This might have been easier.
Yeah, but they got
from the
Billy Bob
beginning.
Thornton now.
Well, I guess they got Billy. Yeah, Billy Bob.
I don't think he drills, but he can be in charge.
Yeah, he's very good at being in charge.
Yeah.
All right.
He can fuss with the people up there and
Okay.
yell at them and stuff. But yeah,
That is crazy though. I had no idea that they had actually,
Yeah.
they have actually sent an atomic bomb up there.
Have they already done it?
I believe so.
Really?
I think they've had some success with it. But
Well, we did
Elon
one
wants to
another
go
one, but I don't know if
Elon-
it's this one yet.
Elon wants to go to Mars. That's
Successfully-
it. That's his main thing.
It takes so long to get
and he
there.
wants to put Wi-Fi on Mars. First off, I think nobody dare. Nobody needs Wi-Fi. I got
You can just show someone the picture on your phone.
I got places on this
There's 3 of you
Yeah,
there.
I got places on my planet that this phone don't work.
I
Let's work on
swear,
that.
if Mars gets Wi-Fi
But
before I do.
like, hey, Elon, like, let's dial this Mars thing back a little bit, and since you got all this technology, why don't you bump that asteroid for us, bro?
Yeah.
Might
as well.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they've said that it would take so long to get to Mars. What is it like?
6 months.
6 months?
You can only leave once or twice a year too. Like by the orbit and everything, there's only certain times of the year you can actually go.
Yes.
If you miss your window, you're done.
Yeah,
You gotta wait again.
but we can't carry enough fuel to be able to get back home. Isn't that a thing too?
Yeah.
So we can get there, but we can't get back.
Yeah, eventually the plan is their starships. They're going to pretty much just go out there with fuel or refuel from orbit because it takes so much fuel to get into orbit.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. But once they get up there, they can refuel and go.
Yeah,
that
because
way.
they don't take once you're there. That's why the space. What is the space station travels at like 160,000.
Insane.
It's super fast.
Yeah.
But it hardly uses it. Like, how often do they refill it? Because there's no gravity, so it just moves.
It's just
This is stuff they're doing it soon.
Is that perpetual motion?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But they are supposedly going to build a base on the moon first to get to Mars. You know, it's kind of like a relay.
That's
Most
interesting.
of you guys think the moon landing was real?
I like to think it was. You know, do I believe it was? I don't.
Man, I've seen some stuff that really makes you go.
Yeah. I know we landed on the moon. I believe we landed on the moon. Now, if we wanted to fake that one landing to beat Soviets at getting there, because it was a big deal at the time, I wouldn't be surprised. Supposedly Stanley Kubrick was involved with the direction of it, if it was faked. But, you know, the
He did
direction...
science fiction movies, right?
Yeah, like 2001 Space Odyssey.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And there's people believe that based off the shadows of the pictures from Apollo 11, there's some shadows that aren't following from. It's like there's two light sources. Basically, is what they believe.
And that's what the video shows. You can see it in the video that the lighting is funny. Of course, the flag. We all know about the flag with the waving up there. But I tell you what, those two astronauts, who was Buzz Aldrin and Armstrong, they neither one of them, I have never heard anything come back about them being friendly to people that says that the moon landing was fake.
Buzz punched a dude in the face about it.
Yeah.
And did you see the video of them when they got back doing the press conference? When the first interview that they had when they got back from the moon landing, they looked so sad or just so unhappy and didn't really talk much. Yeah. And like if you walked on the moon and it succeeded, this most incredible thing we've ever done as a society, you would think it'd be a little more happy about it, but it was weird. It was almost like they were pissed off to be there and just didn't want to say anything. So there's weird things around it.
You know, it could be one of those things too. You know, like whenever, and I'll bring it up, Fish going to see the band. You know, you go see them for like a 3-day run or a 5-day run. At the end of the run, I mean, you know, you're happy that you got to see all these shows and that they played all your favorite songs. But you have this empty feeling at the end of the show. You know, the next day you're like, man. You know, shit, dude, I had a great time, but, you know, why am I so down in the dumps? So, you know, it could have been a similar thing, you know, that they did, they went and they did this amazing
music for 3 or 4 days straight.
Oh, my God. We all know Pete's he's not
the next time you're in that situation, there's an episode of South Park. Cartman tries to warn him, and they have to come get him, because he does just like on, he drives the thing like they do the asteroid, remember? Chev has to die and stuff.
I don't remember.
To get rid of the hippies.
Oh God!
There was like 3 of them playing hacky sack in the park, and Cartman's like, no. He's like, next thing you know, there'll be bonfires, there'll be thousands of them having a music festival. And they're like, it's just the guys playing hacky sack, and Cartman tries to do something to him, and they put him in jail. The next thing you know, there's a million hippies in South Park, and they're having a music festival. Because they drive they make a thing like in Armageddon, and they drive it through the crowd of hippies, and they play Anthrax. They unplug the hippies and play Anthrax to get rid of them. But they have to come to Cartman, and he's like, of course, Kyle has to, all he wants is some kind of little truck to save everybody. They're like, please, Eric, you have to save us. You're the only one that knows. Yeah, and at the end, he gets some kind of toy that they all want, and Kyle has to watch him play with it.
That's
wow.
That's crazy.
The South Park is the best.
I love South Park because they don't care about whoever they're picking on. They will pick on anyone.
Has The Simpsons ever done an episode about aliens?
I'm sure.
Man, some of the Simpsons, man.
Some of those Simpsons.
Some of those. Like those episodes aired a long time, like 15, 20 years ago. Some of them, and it's like. I mean, it could be coincidental stuff, but man, it's like.
There's a lot of it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, like there's a poster of the World Trade Centers, and there's like a price of like $9 or something beside it, but it says 9/11, and it was way before 9/11 happened. So it's one of them. There's like smoke coming up and stuff. Yeah. It's some weird coincidences.
Yeah, Matt Groening, it does his name. Yeah. Like, if y'all want to find out, like. a special set of skills. Get him and lock me and him in a room together, put him in a chair, let's put his hands behind his back.
We will
We're
find out.
gonna find out what he knows. Like, if he really knows the future, I promise I'm gonna get it out of him.
And you know, he's somebody too that you never hear about him in the news. Any kind of social media stuff, there's never any drama brought up other than his show. Never any controversy on him. That's kind of strange. And I've never thought about that until right now. But I've never heard his name in the news other than for just The Simpsons. No trouble.
He knows the future. He knows to stay away from it.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow. But yeah, if he does know, like, I hate the torture, but man, if you know the future and you know the rest of us don't, like, I want to know how you know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And it's not for my own, like, we might can help some people.
Maybe. I'll stand guard at the door while you in there doing your thing.
He gonna tell me.
Where's just like the secrecy with with the alien tech and all that too? Is like if we had access to this stuff, we could help people and do some amazing things medically or just transporting and things like that. It's just give us something. Give us something. It would save our humanity in certain ways.
We have Spam, the meat, sliced processed alien meat. They gave us microwaves. They've given us some cool stuff.
Yeah, like fiber optics or whatever. But
that's the only reason I have Wi-Fi at my house that's worth anything. The first year I lived out here doing like YouTube and all that stuff, I had like the slowest version of AT&T, and I'm 150 yards from the pole, so extra coax running out. It's gonna slow it down. Oh yeah, it was not good when they started putting the red flags up out here, and I stopped, and I was like, what y'all? It was like, we're running Spectrum fiber out here. I was like, for real?
For real?
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna have some high speed.
I was so happy.
Yeah, that's surprising you got it out here. That's great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
and because I can still be Starlink. It's great, but man, I have to have customer service. I can call in. Starlink don't have that.
They don't really.
No.
Yeah.
I'm a big customer service. Like when something's not right, even if it's not their fault, I need somebody to fuss at.
Yeah. I was gonna get the Starlink for the camper. That's what you see in the campgrounds. That's what everybody's using out there. And they're campers. You're out in the woods, and everybody complains about the same thing. They're like, yeah, if you got a good wide open area, like it works great. But if you're in with the trees, they're like, it doesn't work that good. And I'm like, man, camping 99% of it, unless you're at the beach, is in the trees.
You're in the woods.
Campground and get Wi-Fi without having any Starlink or anything.
Your phone?
Nope.
How's that?
I'll take one of the monkeys on it.
Oh, yeah.
And make some friends.
Heck yeah.
I ate good. Like, you wouldn't believe some stuff I've got to do.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine, man.
People it's amazing traveling around with the monkeys and stuff. Like, probably met some aliens.
I bet.
Met some characters.
I bet. The monkeys probably knew they were aliens. They could probably tell. They're an animal. They're like dogs.
I wonder how animals, monkeys, any animals, I wonder how they would react to something like that.
I feel like they'd be able to tell, like dogs, like you're saying, the intuition they have.
Yeah.
So.
They probably run away. Dogs are curious.
I feel like we would know too. I feel like we have enough intuition that if we were close to something like that, we might have some sort of feeling.
Yeah. Do you think it'd be like, and we're good, kind of carried away here, but like Men in Black, the one alien, he was only 3 inches tall and he was living inside that guy's head.
Yeah, the galaxy is
they
on
could
the
be really
rise.
small too.
Yeah, they could be if it's anything like Men in Black. And then you had the guy that was like Lurch that he was talking to that was like 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
So, they can, just like people, they can come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
And they're all beautiful too, just like all of us and all of you.
That's not what you said the other day.
I said everybody is beautiful. I'm sure I did. I'm pretty sure we were talking about something about a woman, and I was like, every woman is beautiful.
I said that. Chris said there was ugly girls or something. I was like, no.
Oh no,
I was like, everybody's beautiful.
No, I was talking about the ones that may not be as pretty whenever they're young. That those girls end up being some of the most beautiful whenever they get older. That's
whatever, shallow how.
But I am not shallow how.
That was filmed in Charlotte.
Was it?
Yeah. It was.
I actually seen that the other day, like the second half of it.
Yeah.
What was her name? Rose. You leave me Rosemary alone.
Rosemary.
Dad, that German he's pissed. Oh, he was so bad. Shallow Hal.
Yeah.
Who was that? Tony Robbins that did that to him?
Yeah. In
I don't
the elevator.
Okay, back to alien stuff. Because Alex Jones is a trip to me. Like, I've seen him do a little bit of alien stuff. Have you ever seen him do any alien stuff that you actually, because, like, I've only seen.
No, he's not my
Alex Jones
go-to.
I've always, well,
I know he's,
that.
you know, I feel like there's some things he's gotten.
The
right,
only thing
but
I've honestly ever
really-
believed that Alex Jones talked about was that it's something Grove, the place in California.
Yeah, Bohemian Grove.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think he snuck into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, man.
That's
I seen
secret
Kid
society
Rock talk
stuff.
about
It's
it.
crazy.
He was like on the outside of it,
Mhm.
and he didn't. I hope he didn't, because I don't want to not be a fan because of something he might have done there. But that's some. It's like kind of like you. That's how you get in. You have to do something that they can hold against you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, blackmail.
okay.
Oh yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with the Skull and Bones at Yale. You know, the Bushes were a part of that, and you got to do something for them to be there.
Yeah, but
They got to
like,
own you somehow or another.
the rest of the stuff,
Yeah.
like I don't put a lot of weight in Alex Jones. But like I said, the Bohemian Grove stuff, I do think he was on to something there. That's the
Yeah.
only time I've ever agreed with him.
Yeah, the Freemason stuff is pretty interesting.
So I do think there's aliens out there. I think they're here. If they are here, they don't want us to know.
Yeah,
Clearly.
really.
Like,
I think some of the craft have been donated.
I mean,
Yeah, I think because you know the way that they're just kind of left behind is suspicious too. You know, when you hear the stories behind it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think we're getting little donations, but you know, you can't give us the full Monty because we ain't gonna understand it.
Yeah.
You gotta give us, you know, the 99 accord, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think that they're here too. I don't think that we're alone, and I think that there is all kind of stuff that we don't know about out there. So that's what we think. You guys make sure
we're
y'all.
never gonna know.
No, you will never know. But you guys leave some comments. Let us know what y'all think about the aliens. This has been a fun one. I've enjoyed chatting.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've enjoyed chatting.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed having Beattie over
thanks for
here.
having me, guys.
Yeah. So
Are y'all gonna drive through Orion's Belt on the way home?
Try to.
I know he is.
I'm definitely not, and I'm not down to go interact with aliens.
All right. Well, so I guess me and Beattie, we'd go hang out with the aliens for
I
about
believe
a
he
week.
volunteered to be abducted.
Who, me? Beattie?
Do what?
You gonna be abducted?
So like my serious answer is I would go hang out with them as long as I knew they weren't going to do anything to me. And
Sexually?
also, I mean, there's a little leeway here, but at the same time is, you know, how long am I going to be gone? You know what I mean? I got to know when I'll be back, you know.
Well, you're married, you know. You got to tell the wife always wants to know when you're gonna be back.
Got a little girl at home.
Right
I don't
now,
wanna be away for too long,
the
but,
main
yeah.
reason right now that I would be reluctant to go interact with aliens is because I don't want to live out the real life 100 men versus a gorilla. I don't. They'd be like, well, 100 men, and nobody would even think about it, like, hey, they just been like a nice round number. We're gonna go meet the aliens, and they'd be like,
Yeah.
no, we've been seeing y'all's internet and watching y'all's dumb internet stuff. We want to see y'all fight one of y'all. We want to see it.
Yeah, and I'll go back and backtrack on that before we get off here. I think that I'm going to have to go back and say that I have to agree with you. I've seen a lot of gorilla videos since we did our 100 men versus a gorilla. And yeah, I think the gorilla would probably get everybody
Yes.
after going back and thinking about it. But
Everything he does, you're either not alive anymore or paralyzed.
Yeah.
Everything that gorilla does.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
100 times, what are you talking about? Minute and 20, 2 minutes and 120 seconds. Like, there's not going to be much left after that.
Yeah.
1 second per person.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, this has been super fun. Thank you for
Yeah,
coming over.
thanks for having me, guys.
That's fascinating. We'll put links for those videos if you guys want to check them out. Tell us what you think. If you've seen it before, have you seen? Definitely tell us about your alien experience. Like I said, the blue light Luke and I seen, but when I was a kid, similar to what he seen, it was just a bright light, and it wasn't even all the way dark. It was getting close to dark, but it was huge in the sky. It definitely wasn't an airplane.
Yeah.
Definitely was not.
So we know there's other stuff out there. So
And if you're on the beach and Darth Vader walks up, leave.
yeah,
Come on.
leave right away, especially if your friends see him too. So
Chris is going to walk that way and stepped in. But all right, thank you guys for watching. Again, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. This is awesome.
Absolutely.
You're our first guest, so like in like a year and a half now, when we're getting like 5 million views a episode,
Oh, yeah.
you're like, man, I was on there when it was only getting like 2,000.
Yeah, that's
I hope
right.
so, man. Yeah. Y'all got a great thing going, man. It's been a joy. Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
Cool. Everybody have a good one. See you guys.
Take care of your mental health, everybody.
X and top left.